Hello, my friends. We are live, and today we're going to do a little trip to Egypt. I'm experimenting with the best ways to present slideshows to promote my videos, and today I'm using the Photos in the Photos app in Mac. The other day I used Preview. We're trying something different today. Cairo, Luxor, Egypt, some of the most intense places on earth. Let's get right to the slideshow. Upon landing in Egypt, you come out the airport door, and it's a blast of heat. But strangely, on this trip, there was a thunderstorm on the way to the hotel, a rare thunderstorm. And I stayed in a very nice hotel. You wouldn't know it to look at the view out the hotel window. This is the view out the hotel window. Kind of gritty, right? Egypt is gritty. It's not all this gritty. Some of it's more gritty. Some of it's not as gritty. It's a gritty place. It's a loud place. It is an in-your-face place. It is, it might give you a migraine. It is not for the meek, the mild. It's a tough place. Let's move right to some more photos. Let's see how this whole thing works here. We have, okay. Interesting shot of the transportation. And this, I believe, might have been the vehicle that I rode to Giza in, but we'll get to that later. Loud, all kinds of vehicles, lots of motorcycles, horses, cattle. Not cattle, horses. And yes, this is the view from the inside of the vehicle going to Giza. It's a hodgepodgey kind of place, as you can see. And these are random shots of Cairo. This is just a shop of a man selling who knows what. Notice the age-old TV in the corner. Who knows what this guy is? He a real estate guy? Does he sell junk? He's obviously at a desk doing some business. It's kind of a shop. Never figured out what the shop was. Obviously, they sell a lot of hookah materials. I bought my hookah in Luxor, and I still have it. I'm trying to turn it into a lamp. But I got this kind of for its artistic, this close-up of a hookah. Yes, I did ride a camel. There's a caveat to this whole thing. I mean, you're a tourist, and it's not as bad as Turkey, as Istanbul, but the hucksters, the people that are trying to sell you stuff, including services like rides and camels, are in your face. And once you get on the camel, they're going to try to, maybe sell you something, have you go on the camel for a longer ride. This one guy's like, come over to my house for supper. Trust me, it's not because the guy had a special relationship with me. It's somehow that was going to cost me more money and make him more money. This is the base of the Great Pyramid. When you get up close to it, it's more chunky. But bear in mind that when they built them, there was a sheet of smooth white limestone covering all of these. It must have been something to see. More just random shops, extremely random, as you might see. And that's kind of the excitement of it. You just do not know what's up and what's coming next. This is a street called Tentmaker Street. And this was one of the more real photos that I took, I think. A real, this is Cairo kind of thing. Men sitting, smoking tobacco, having tea on Tentmaker Street. Tentmaker Street's a street out and back of one of the other streets where they sell stuff. This is more where the warehouses are to keep inventory. As a matter of fact, I bought a hookah in Luxor, and I wanted to get a leather hose for it. And so this little kid took me up to Tentmaker Street and opened this big kind of warehousey door. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of leather hookah pipes. I got one for $3. Not the pipe, the hose. And I still have it. I still have it now. It's 3 feet away from me. Tent Maker Street. Obviously, they made tents there at one point. This is another just a place to hang out. Very esoterically, is that the word? Well, decorated in a cool manner. And I'm using my pipe, my hose in their hookah pipe. You see Mona Lisa in the corner. Is that a TV in the back? That's back when I had different glasses and I had no beard. I actually like me better now. Random Street, it is a busy, loud place. You want some orange juice? No problem. Plenty of orange juice. The traffic is so loud, and the smell of the exhaust. You can get a headache, to tell you the truth. I know it doesn't sound very inviting. This is me kind of grumpy, smoking a hookah. Shouldn't have included that ugly photo. This is obviously a cotton warehouse. That is Egyptian cotton in a pretty early state, I guess. Well, no, a mid state. Like having been pulled out of the bales. One of my favorite photos ever. I got lost, really, really lost, kind of on purpose, in the back streets of Cairo. Way back there. And this is one of those implied action, implied movement kind of still photos. The balance of this thing is just great. The kid's just great. Guy walking by is just great. If I do say so myself, that is a museum quality photo. I've seen lots of photos not that good at the MFA. Now, the pyramids and stuff. Giza is not that far from Cairo, as a matter of fact. This is shot from a building in Cairo with my old video camera that it, zoomed in as much as it could. And there are the pyramids from a tall building in Cairo. And you take some sort of transportation. I took a taxi. And you can ride a camel. And you probably should do it if you've never ridden a camel. Yes, it's a touristy thing to do. But look, you rode a camel at the pyramids. It's the problem of the must-do thing. You must do it. They know you must do it. It's going to cost you. They're going to want to get some more out of you somehow. It's like the snake charmers in Morocco. This, to me, the Sphinx, is the most amazing human-made thing I've ever seen. It just blows me away. I understand the enormity of the Great Pyramid, but the Sphinx does it for me. It's so creepy, right? These are massive. This is Luxor, by the way. This is not Cairo. This is Luxor. And it's interesting to see just how big these things are. And the reason I leave the people in the foreground there is so you can see the scale of these monsters. There, the Sphinx. There's a whole lot of stuff there that they still haven't discovered. This is one of my favorite. This is a still actually taken from a video. And by the way, to see the Luxor video, go to my YouTube travel channel, Bradley J. Travel. And I'll leave the link to that in the description below. I'll post this on YouTube. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, posted, hit the link to the videos below in the description. Luxor. I take pictures of hotels. This was the Winter Palace. It was a splurge. This is where, King Charles stayed. Lots of famous people stayed. The greats, the near greats, and the in-greats. I'd be both a near. No, I'm not an in-great. I'm a near great. It doesn't look fabulous, but it kind of is. We'll see the common area. There's the common area. Old school. Right out that door, right across the street, is the Nile, maybe 50 feet away. Old school elegance, the Winter Palace, Luxor. Again, the Winter Palace in Luxor. We saw this guy. He's the guy on the way to No, wait, no, he's a different person. Maybe I had this all wrong. It says Mahmud Luxor. Just because it says that on there doesn't necessarily mean that's where we are, but it could be. Little story here. You know, when you buy stuff in these shops, high pressure. If you go in some of the narrow shops, they physically won't let you out. There was one where I went in, and these two beefy youths, I seemed like they were the guy's son, blocked the way out. You literally would have to physically push your way through to get out, which is not an accident. They want you in there, and they want you to buy something before you leave, and they're willing to block your exit. Now, here's a guy I bought something from, and you did the haggling. The haggling is a hassle, I'll tell you. It is a hassle. But after the haggling got done, then there's the buying and the getting change. And I thought this guy cheated me. And then, after I thought, I don't know, I can't be sure. Like I made a big stink about the change, and he begrudgingly acquiesced. And later I thought, I can't be sure if I'm right. So I went back and I apologized, actually, and gave him what I had sort of forced him to give me. I don't know whether it's 5, 10. I don't know what the denomination was. I gave it back to him, and then we were pals. And I feel like he might not have cheated me, and I was just being a jerk. And there we are, pals again. My very favorite thing, maybe ever in my life, as far as travel goes, is going on a felucca boat in the Nile. It's a sailboat of a particular kind used in particular places. I did it twice. The Nile, somehow magical. Now, on this bank of the Nile is where the hotel is. The opposite bank of the Nile, there were kids herding cattle. It looked like it was 5,000 years ago, and probably looked very much the same 5,000 years ago. Just kids herding cattle with the palm trees in the background and the sun dropping down like that. This is the Nile on the other side of the river. It's a little video. I get to play it, I guess. Look at that. Oh, this is cool. I can include more videos. Yeah, man. This was it for me. Just the best. It's pretty real. It costs $40 for an hour ride. And then, they give you the sob story about, oh, my son, for some sob story. For my son, they want a tip or more money. You got to get used to that. You have to steel yourself to it. I hadn't thought about showing video shorts before in these slideshows, so that's great. How do you get more beautiful than this? This chokes me up to see. I've always had in my mind's eye a vision of what the Nile would look and feel like, and it was exactly this. It looks like the Bible little workbooks from Sunday school that you'd have to read the stories about Jesus and back in the day, and you'd have to answer questions and stuff in these little workbooks. And they had little pictures. It looked exactly like this. It's out there. There's a warm breeze coming off the desert. There's the sound of music coming from somewhere, and it didn't seem recorded. It probably was. But out over the water, some boat had indigenous music playing. Oh, this is so good. This is the other bank of the Nile that I talked to you about, where it looked like 5,000 years ago. You can't quite see, I don't think, the kids with the cattle. But, don't you know what I mean? It looks so ancient. And I think we're at the end of our show here. So, in order to see the entire video, and there are multiple videos, go to Bradley J Travel, and there are playlists there, and there's an Egypt playlist. You can also type in Bradley J Travel on YouTube with Egypt, Bradley J Travel Egypt on YouTube. And I really appreciate this. I appreciate your time. As far as going to Egypt now, it's interesting. We always wonder, is it dangerous? You know, dangerous compared to what? Driving on 128 is more dangerous. Could there be some terrorist act? Could you get kidnapped? Yeah, sure. But could you die on Route 128? Yes, yes, and yes. Is it more dangerous than New York City? No, probably not. Is it more rewarding than New York City? Oh, yeah. And you know how easy it is to go to Egypt? You buy a ticket. You get on the plane. You get off the plane. Boom. You did it. Just know it's going to be loud and fast. And people are going, you are an American, and they know you are rich. You are rich. Even if you don't feel rich, compared to them, you are rich. They know it, and they're going to try to sell you stuff. And then they're going to try to upsell you and sell you more. And you got to just know that going in. Be firm. You do have to haggle. I can't remember exactly what the formula is, but I guess the formula would be know the place where that you know the money you want to spend, and go like 50% lower than that, and just be happy to end up where you wanted to spend or slightly more. And remember, to you, and I was kind of bad this way, it's not a big deal to you to spend a couple extra dollars. But these people, they need the dough. Because you're rich. You're not going to miss it. And another thing, I have to say, don't buy a bunch of garbage you don't need. You got to lug it home. I bought a hookah. And as I mentioned, I'd love to smoke it. It's so old now, though, that the rubber seal, it doesn't really work anymore. I should get out of that. Get back to just me. I'm going to make it into a lamp. But I bought an all-metal one because I didn't want it to break on the way home. And when I was at the airport, I should have bought a bunch of the hookah tobacco, because it was like $3 a box there, and it's like, I don't know, something ridiculous here. So go to the YouTube channel, Bradley J Travel, to see the full videos, and I look forward. And please consider subscribing, because I'd love to have you as a valued subscriber. And when I post these, know that you are watching them, and also click on the bell to get notified of future posts. All right? And there'll be other information, perhaps my web page in the description below. That was pretty fun. Thanks for being with me. And remember to travel lightly.